So this question speaks about a lot of Americans, but also white Christians. So many are comfortable living in cognitive dissonance. What is the faithful response to this? How do I even start with family or friends who don't follow politics but need to be warned? How do we maintain relationships while being clear in our beliefs about right and wrong?
I'll briefly say, when that question about family comes up, I often think about what Jesus said when the disciples came to him and said, "Your family's looking for you." And Jesus said, "Who's my family? Who are my mother and sister and brothers? Anyone who does the will of God." Family ties are family ties. These are people close to us. I understand. But also, as was mentioned before, people are in danger. It's not the time to pontificate on a political ideology. Be witnesses. State what you believe is true. Don't tiptoe around it, because I guarantee you they're being bold with what they think is true.
Yep.
And I'll also say this: it may result in broken relationships.
Yep.
Why would we think otherwise? I actually think that so much of that question comes from twisting ourselves in knots by thinking that there's some way to massage it, some way to say it, that's going to build that bridge. Maybe, and I hope so, but maybe not. So have you genuinely faced that possibility that you may not be going to their house anymore, that you may not be spending the holidays with them? Not because you don't like them, not even because you don't love them, but because people's lives are at risk. And by their political choices, they're continuing to put them at risk. So where is that line, the bright line? So I just want to say, this is real.
Yep.
It may not be a happy ending in every situation or circumstance. And I guarantee you, for black folks, there have been a lot of broken relationships because of injustice. And now we're getting more and more people who are starting to feel that, and it's strange and it's new, but it's also part and parcel of what goes along with standing up for justice. And I would just invite us to truly ponder that it may not turn out to have a nice bow on it at the end.
Can I just add one quick thing? I feel like I've spent most of my last decade of my professional life trying to recover from the cognitive dissonance that question talks about. Right, trying to recover. So I grew up as a Southern Baptist, right, in Jackson, Mississippi, for the most part. Born here, but grew up mostly in Jackson. But my people, right, come from Macon, Bibb County, just down the road here. And what I've feel like I've been swimming, like that song that Taylor's saying about trying to find the surface. And you see that light, but it's a little glimmery, and you're I'm not sure if I feel like I've been trying to swim toward the surface to get a breath, because it is so thick, and it is so new for us. Those of us who are identify as white, let's think about this. We had democracy for white people in this country. That's the version of democracy that most white Christian churches baptized and supported. I never forget, the National Council of Churches did a report on religious schools in the South. And they concluded that if you saw the word Christian academy in a private school's name, you could look up the history, but you could take it to the bank that it was formed sometime in the late 60s and early 70s as a segregation academy to protect good white Christian kids from going to school with black folks. So this is a new thing. We don't have centuries of good white Christian theology to get us here. This is something we are going to have to build.